What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Kustom. I'm Carl Fisher, and today we are going to be working on the Planishing hammer jig. We're going to pump out a couple of Planishing hammers, and I'm going to show you guys what it's really taken me to get the jig working exactly how I want it. I know a couple guys didn't really understand what they were really looking at when they saw the twin axis jig video. Hopefully this kind of gives you a better idea of what I was trying to achieve by designing the jig the way I did, because I got a lot of hammers to build, and I really want to make sure that they're as consistent as possible and that I can be as efficient as possible in welding them all up. So I want to do nice welds. I want to be able to be comfortable when I'm welding. I want to make sure that all the pieces that we're spending so much time manufacturing, they all get held in place perfectly so that everything is perfect, or as close to perfect as we can get them. So that's what this video is going to be about. And thank you all for watching Make It Kustom. Don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications, and let's get into it. All right, so I'm gonna give you a little demonstration on the 24-inch hammer. I don't know if you guys have seen the video. I did a little video on the manual tucking fork, how to build one, how to shrink metal manually. This is what we made. It's basically, you know, a circle turned into a dish. And if you can see here, we tucked it with a tucking fork and just kind of pinched this all together. And the surface is a bit rough. It's not a finished surface. You know, this is just a bit of, you know, hammer marks and that kind of thing. I'm going to show you what the planishing hammer will do to this and how fast it'll do it. Our first thing is that we got to pick the right size die. So the right radius that we want to achieve, you know, if this was smooth, what radius would it be? It'd be about a 6-inch radius. So I take a 6-inch radius die. I just want to check to make sure that that is the one. It's not rocking around. That is the radius that we're trying to achieve. And this is going to smooth it all out and create a consistent radius on this dome with the hammer. So what I got to do first is find my wrench. Where is it? Here it is. Just going to unlock my adjuster here. We're going to open up the machine. We're going to change the die to the die that we want. Close her back up. Once it touches, just a little extra, and then we're going to lock it in place. I do recommend using a regulator with this, so you can regulate your air pressure if you're trying to do things where, you know, you're smoothing things out and you want to be really consistent. There's also a little cheater regulator right here that just kind of dials it in. This does work well, and I use this all the time when I'm too lazy to go change the regulator. But for really consistent stuff where you're just smoothing dents, you're not trying to stretch anything, or you're worried about stretching something, I wouldn't use this. I would dial it right in to make sure that by accident you don't tip this and start hammering too hard all of a sudden. But for us, for this, we're just going to use this cheater, and that's it. So I've just got a foot pedal here. Put the foot pedal somewhere comfortable and hook it up. Plug my foot pedal in. Okay, I've got it set pretty low there with the cheater. I'm going to put my earplugs on. As you can see, we've got a beautiful surface finish. It's transferred off of the top die that's in the actual planishing hammer, and it's just incredibly smooth in just a few minutes. That's a little demonstration of what this hammer can do. You can stretch flat material with it. We'll take the this totally flat disc here, and I'll just show you how to put a low crown in it. Well, we're just going to stretch it with the same die. You might want to change dies depending on what size of a crown you want. So already we've raised it up and given it a bit of a crown. The other thing that it can do is obviously it can smooth out dents like we showed you, taking the wrinkles out of that first one. But what we can do is we can weld this with a TIG welder and then hammer our welds back down. When you TIG weld, the weld will shrink the metal. So what I'll do is I'll actually cut this in half. I'll weld it back together, and then we will planish the weld out. Okay, so here's a closer look at what happened there. So we welded it with TIG, ground just a tiny bit of I just barely hit it with 80 grit and just kind of knocked the tips off of any of the extra material that was on that weld. And we just hammered it back out. So like when the weld cools, it sort of shrinks and tightens everything up a little bit. We didn't get much warp because this type of a shape, a dome, is a pretty strong shape. But hammering it back out really stretches the weld back out and relaxes the material afterwards. So the bottom, I didn't actually grind any of it. I didn't think it was necessary. We had good penetration that was pretty consistent all the way through. So I just let the hammer do its thing and hammer it back flat. There is, and like I said again, this is the one that we use the tucking tool, just that manual tucking fork. We just went around it a few times, and that's how much curve we got with just that manual tucking fork, and then just, you know, planishing it out. So pretty simple. Don't need fancy stuff. There is that flat disc where you really can't tell how much crown it has, so I just thought I'd show you with a straight edge how much crown it truly does have. So here we go. Has quite a bit, you know. Only less than a minute. We were on there for less than a minute. We had it cranked up pretty good, but so stretching, smoothing, planishing, that's what the machine does. So that was all on the 24-inch, this guy here. So we make a 24 and a 36. There's gonna be multiple lower hoops for each one once we get into them. But like I said, I got a ton of hammers to build. All right, so here we go. This is the 36-inch hammer off of the jig. Welds are nice, everything's beautiful, everything lined up just perfectly. This is the most important thing about my jig, is that when both these pieces are welded up separately, we've got welds on the tube, we've got welds here, everything is affected by the welds. So the fact that these came out of the jig and bolted together and had just perfect alignment here, this is my main worry, is how perfectly aligned is the center of that hammerhead. So now that I know that they're good, we can continue, we can build a whole bunch. The jig fixtures work out really, really nice. This is what that hammerhead gets made on. I get to make these tabs here. These can get welded on at the same time right here. That's like a little spacer for my slotted piece of tubing. And I did have to make this head. I know on here we made two different spots so that I don't have to interchange them like I was originally thinking. I did have to have an interchangeable head fixture here, and the reason being is that those tubes are straight and they come along and they would hit it. Like these lower tubes, when this is flipped, they come down and can, you know, they can miss the fixture. This fixture cannot be missed, so it does have to move from side to side. That's okay. These are the two different sizes of hammers. The actual arms themselves are longer, like these are proportionately longer on the 36-inch length as they are on the 24-inch, and that is so that the jaw opens the same amount depending on the length. So it's a proportion thing. So these two holes are for both those sizes, which you saw me make. Tried to do really nice welds on here. I just tried my best to do my best, and I think it turned out really good. You saw me welding on them. The jig works great. I love that I can spin it around, flip it around, do all that. Here's the 24-inch one. Like I said, this is proportionately shorter on the 24. There it is. Everything lines up beautifully. Same deal. Now just an update on our machine parts. While I'm welding all these tubes up, all our dies are done. They've all been finished. They've all undergone heat treating and then a final pass after heat treating. So a post heat treat, and it's really cool. I'm gonna clip something in here so that you can see. It was sent to me by one of the machinists. Post heat treating, the dies are so hard, they're 58 to 60 Rockwell, that when they cut it, it almost like catches on fire. They're doing like this tiny skim coat with like a diamond cutter or some kind of crazy cutter that it has to be harder than the actual die. So I think they said diamond cutter. It basically looks like it's dripping fire when they're doing this last process. Those are all done, so 650 dies is what we manufactured because there's 13 pieces and we did 50 sets of these hammers, so 50 sets of 13 dies. So yeah, I'm really happy that the jig turned out awesome and it works great, and now I'm just gonna go to town. I'm just gonna go to town making hammers. I'm gonna lock the door. Nobody's disturbing me. I'm making hammers. So once those dies come back from heat treat, or not from heat treat because they're done heat treating, once they come back from laser etching, all of our radiuses marked on there, so it's really easy to see. Once those come back, I want to have all these hammers finished so that everything's done. And then we're just packaging and we're shipping. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all the pre-order customers that bought these hammers, that allowed this production run to happen, and that patiently waited through all this trial and error to get this product to you. I really, really appreciate it. This is a big deal for me. This is something I've wanted to do for a really long time, and to be able to come up with a design and bring it, you know, to you guys and have other people use it. I feel so good about it. So thank you all for your patience. Thank you for watching Make It Kustom. I appreciate the comments, the love, the likes. Even if you don't like something, I appreciate it anyway. From Christine and I, thank you very much. Happy New Year. Don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications, and have a great one.